I used to swear. I have a lot of pride flags. Crossing.
Oh, do you?
Thanks.
Where'd you head to?
I just
Long
went to the
time no
bathroom.
Huh?
Sure.
Well, you're just abandoning the meeting and expect to be let back in.
Yeah, no. How's the air over there?
Very good.
I like the light. Other side of the room. What?
Pretty much the same.
It's so weird how it splits. Like there must be multiple cameras up there.
Where did we?
It's a 360 camera.
Yeah, these are cameras. If you look up there, if you talk, it'll zoom in on you. So like it's on you and me.
What?
It's a,
It's not fair, but.
It's
it's a
weird, yeah.
360 camera.
It's a 360 camera.
Yeah.
So we're about to start in maybe like 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. We'll start.
And there's also two of them.
Yes.
I didn't even see the other one over there.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Oh, 30.
Hello, Olivia.
He said he had a class till 2:15, so he's gonna come.
Okay.
2:15.
All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. All right. Thank you. Sorry for like the late start. We're just it's hectic today, but thank you for coming. Yeah, this is our first student leaders town hall of the semester. Cab is here, student government is here, and yeah, we're gonna have some fun today. But yeah. Yeah, so we just wanted to start off basically with some introductions. Name, pronouns, role at JCC, and major. I can start real quick. My name is Alex Miranda. I'm the president of student government. My pronouns are he, him. My role at USCC is president of student government. And my major is political science. Oh, and we're also doing an icebreaker following this. So my favorite musical album at the moment is probably Brat by Charlie XCX. I've been streaming that a lot, so yeah, I can pass it off to Jennifer.
Okay, so my name is Jennifer Camino Alvarez. My pronouns are she, her, and at GRCC, I'm the vice president for student government, and my major is chemical engineering.
Oh.
And I would say, I don't know, I feel like I listen to a lot of music, but I think my favorite album probably of all time is called E by Echo 2K, if anyone knows that.
Hi everyone, my name is Maria. I'm the treasurer of student government and I major in econ.
I was gonna say Brett, but he lives the winner, so. Yeah, just Brett.
Hello everyone, my name is David Incorn Wong. I usually go by Troy. I'm the new communications director here at the student government, and I'm majoring in photography. And also my favorite album, no, I don't have any. I like all of them.
Okay.
So yeah.
Then I'll pass it off to Braden to introduce Cab.
My name is Braden, I'm president of the campus activities board. My pronouns are he, him, and my major, I'm going for network administration. My favorite musical album. I like the wide variety, so. The most recent one I listened to at a festival was Marshmallow. So.
Hi guys, my name is Victoria de Valio. My pronoun is she, her.
My role at GFCC is vice president. I am a backup for president. I do tagline session to promote GFCC. And as well, I make sure that all of the forms for events are due to date, complete, and it will run smoothly. And my major is business. And my favorite musical album so far, Sabrina Carpenter Espresso. So yeah.
And then if we just wanted to go around the room, we can start on this side.
Okay. My name is Stephanie. My pronouns are she, her. My role at GRCC is like a student, or I guess I'm also an employee. And my major is cellular molecular biology. My favorite musical album right now is From the Fires by Greta Van Fleet.
My name is Sarah. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a student at GOCC. My major is a teacher. And my favorite album is Sabrina Carpenter as well. I love that. I love her.
My name is Zach Danovich. I go by he, him. I am the president of the Foreign Affairs Club and a student, and my major is environmental sustainability. I have two albums that I really like, How to Be a Human Being by Glass Animals and Nurture by Porter Robinson.
All right, my name is Parker. I use any pronouns. I am a student here at GRCC and the treasurer for the Arts Club. I am a secondary education major, and my current favorite album is Beyond, Beyond, Beyond by the Crane Wives. It just released on Friday.
Hey, so my name's Spencer. I'm the president of the Arts Club. Also a student. And then pronouns are they, he. And then you're putting me on the spot here with the album, but like I'd probably have to go with Antichrist Superstar by Marilyn Manson. I know, kind of cringe, but like, but I like it.
Very different styles for you had so far.
I'm Zoe Sheeley, and I forget the title, but I am representative for, Standout, the LGBTQ club here. And my major is communications, pre-communications. And my favorite album would probably have to be Growing Up on the Internet by No Offense, so.
Hi everyone, my name is Steven. My pronouns are he, him. I'm vice president of the Rotaract Club and a student here. And my major here is cellular molecular biology. And my favorite album, I don't have any, just like all music.
What was your role in the Rotaract again? Sorry.
Vice president.
Vice President. Nice to meet you. I don't think we've introduced each other, but it's nice to meet you. But yeah, that's basically it. You guys have some good music taste, so yeah, I love music. So if you guys want to connect on that anytime, just let me know. Yeah. Cool. We can just move on to what is specifically student government about. And then the campus activities board, I'll let Gab do that. And then we can, after that, do our basic town hall procedures, our purpose, and the essential question of why are we here? Yeah. So yeah, this is student government right here. This is a new e-board this year, except me. I'm staying for one more term, one more year. And our purpose essentially is we are here to hear you out and advocate for students on campus. We're students, for students, working for students' needs. And yeah, so this is our monthly in-person town halls. Last year they used to be bi-weekly, but this year we thought it would be more convenient to make it monthly. Since that bi-weekly commitment was very, for some people it's taxing. So yeah, now it's monthly. Yeah, you want to explain your purpose?
Yeah, Our purpose for CAB is to help inform students of volunteer opportunities. Hopefully we can gather some new volunteers for events as seems like last year and this year, our events have been becoming bigger. And so we're looking for more students to hopefully that can help out with that. As well as share exciting plans that we have coming up with our events for the semesters.
And then on the slide, we just have our basic information, our link tree, which leads to Instagram, Raider Connect, basically all in one for student government. And yeah, this year we're really focusing on voter registration. And yeah, I think our first voter registration event is next week, Tuesday, in the Student Center on the first floor. It's pizza to the polls. So learn about voting, get some pizza. It'll be fun. And then an event that we're planning at the moment that we're really excited about is our Hispanic Heritage Month event. We're partnering with the Woodrick Center to do this event. It'll be in the ATC building. It's gonna be a pretty big event. It's kind of like a mini cultural festival, but centered around Hispanic heritage. And then the Arts Club is helping out with a t-shirt design that the first 100 people will receive a t-shirt related to Hispanic heritage. So yeah. And move on to the next. This is yours.
Yeah, so as we introduced before, we are missing two of our board members, Amelia and Victoria. We were able to put some pictures up, and we're also missing Sheena as well. And Sheena, she's the assistant advisor. So she kind of helps Alyssa make sure we are able to navigate GRC's procedures and policies, making sure they're everything. And then we've got Victoria, she's the communications director. So she is on social media. If you guys ever reach out to us on social media, she's usually the one reaching out to answer any questions or give feedback on anything. And then Amelia is our secretary. She is in charge of organizing volunteers, communicating with them. So if you reach out, if you're interested in being a volunteer, she would be the go-to person. And she's also just making sure that we have kind of everything organized and ready to go. So, yeah.
And then here we will be overviewing the basic procedures of these town halls. So our typical agenda, we will start with an introduction. Our introduction today might be probably our longest introduction of the semester, just because we're going over our purpose, our procedures, basically the introduction to our town hall. But we start with an introduction, then we'll move on to CAB sharing their upcoming events and volunteer opportunities. And then typically we would give some GRCC updates. And after that, we would move on to Maria's treasurer report, detailing how much money we have left, what is the budget looking like for the year. And then if there are any allocation requests, we would move on to that. For the allocation request, we will only present them to the town hall if they are over $1,000. If they are under $1,000, we will meet privately as an e-board and vote on that. We actually have we will have an example of an allocation request of over $1,000 today. And then everyone here will be able to vote on that. Every student here will be able to vote on that. And then after that, we will have an opportunity for a public comment, which is anything you want to say. It doesn't have to be related to the town hall. It can be anything from promotion, how you're feeling, the GRCC environment. Yeah, then we'll move on to our main conversation. And then after that, we'll just wrap up the town hall. And I want to talk a bit about the allocation request procedure. So since this year, we're doing monthly town halls. The allocation request ideally would have to be submitted, I think, the week before the week. So we have town halls on Wednesdays every month. So they would ideally have to be on that Sunday or maybe Monday, if they're over $1,000. So yeah, that would have to have some planning on the clubs and organizations on their part if they want us to hear their allocation requests on time. Voting on allocations, so I mentioned for allocations over $1,000, all the students here can vote on that. But for this year, if you're a part of the e-board of that allocation request you're sending, we're making a rule that only the e-board members can vote on that allocation. So let's say you have like 20 people in your club. All 20 people can't vote on that allocation. It can only be the e-board. So ideally that gives you 4 or 5 votes on that allocation request that you can secure. But yeah, we just don't want 20 people to vote for their own interest.
So, cause like you said, all students can vote, so if they're not a part of your club.
Yeah,
Can they vote?
yeah,
Okay, but if they are a part of your club, then only the e-board members can vote.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. How do we determine like who or who isn't part of the club though?
I think it would be based on the Raider Connect roster, but I think Valerie, you had your hand.
I do have a question about that because this is new, I think, to me. Can we maybe revisit this? Because I think we have to look at, like representative requirements for voting kind of holistically. Make sure that that's something that can align. Does
Yeah,
that make sense? That's what I'm.
yeah. So, okay, well, for this e-board, then we can just have everyone vote, no matter if you're part of the e-board, or not, everyone here will get a vote. And then we'll deliver an update probably in the October town hall.
Thank you.
Yeah, probably. Location, so for our first town hall, it is obviously here, RJF 108, 109. But we'll be fluctuating locations each month. So next month it would be in the ATC building 124. And then in November, it'll be in this room again. And then in December, it'll be in the ATC 124 room. We do have a guest speaker in November, that is President Lepper. So it would be in this room. Yeah, so that's basically it. Then
You can find those meeting times on social media as well. And Connect. It's gonna be every second Wednesday of every month. And then for our events this semester, we were able to create a full event calendar for the fall semester. Kind of looks like, you probably may have seen it around campus. We try to post in every building and every bulletin board, as well as we're trying to also get out to different departments, so hopefully too, they can share with students. And you can also even find out on Radio Connect. Also, if you're on Radio Connect, that's also where you can RSVP. RSVPing helps us a lot because if it's an event that we're gonna have food there, it kind of gives us a better idea of how many people are gonna be there. For some of those events too, you can bring a guest that's a non-GRC student. For example, the homecoming dance, as well as the fall festival. Those two, you'll be able to kind of tell on Radio Connect that you're going to be bringing a guest and kind of reflect those numbers in there. Some of them too, for example, the homecoming dance might have a kind of a separate form, just because it may require more details for that. Yeah, again, this is going to be all on social media as well. So you follow us. We have a TikTok, Instagram, and a Facebook. All usernames are @GRCCAB. No spaces in there. And then we also have a phone number. You guys don't know yet, where you can text join to that phone number. You'll be opted and received a text from us and be able to always be on top of when events are coming up, as well as we sometimes do free giveaways on there as well. So any questions about that? Yeah. And then we do have 2 upcoming events that I kind of want to mention. This one, Students Fight Back, which is next week. This is a self-empowerment and self-defense program. It's very interactive. It's kind of just helps if you get into certain situations, kind of how we can defend ourselves on campus or anywhere. So, and that's gonna be take place on September 18th. It'll be 3 to 5 in the multi-purpose room here main campus. And if you don't know where the multi-purpose room, that's in the student life building, kind of behind this, on the second floor, kind of by the back behind the Quiet Cafe. You take that hallway back, so. Yeah, a couple of these pictures are kind of what the idea kind of feels. There's a speaker again that comes out, just kind of goes over it. There'll be definitely me and Amelia who kind of be up there to kind of, our volunteers to kind of show to demonstrate some of the stuff. So, yeah, we hope to see some of you guys there. And then our next one, this one's gonna be a pretty big one. It's going to be the Fall Festival. I remember, I don't know if this has been done in the past, so we're pretty excited. It's gonna be on September 28th. That is going to be a Saturday. We have talked to students and had feedback from our previous events over the years, and they said one of the things they wish we had was events on Saturdays. Because some people, you know, work during the week, we have school during the week, sometimes it's online, and students are like, yeah, but we still don't really want to show up. So that will be on a Saturday, and it'll be from noon to 4 at JRC's DeVos campus, at the Sneeden Hall parking lot. It'll kind of cover the whole parking lot. And what you can do is you can bring, it's supposed to be more of a family oriented event. That's another request we've had from students, you know, that they wish they could bring their families and friends to go. So you can definitely do that as well. And then for the activities and stuff we'll have there, one will be a petting zoo. We'll have horses, bunnies, goats, I believe. Another big event, there's going to be like a huge like obstacle course that's blown up kind of. There'll be mini golf. For food, there'll be elephant ears, hot dogs and chili dogs for free. And then for drinks, you can get water, apple cider, and then student government's also being a part of it as well. They're doing their own pumpkin carving booth. So they'll be there to have students come out there and they can carve or paint a pumpkin. Yeah, of course, there's more stuff there. I didn't go through the whole list, but those are just kind of the big ones. And this one, we're also definitely looking for volunteers. And on the agenda form, if you look at the document, there is a couple links. There's a volunteer sign up form that you can click. It's also found on Radar Connect. I'll check it out later. And you can fill up information, and then we can get in touch and see what kind of events you're interested in, volunteer. And then we also kind of have a description of what you do at those events. But yeah, again, the Fall Festival is something we definitely would love to see if people would help, just because again, it's a large scale event. So yeah.
So this is like sort of unrelated. How did you get the agenda? Because like I tried to get it from the email, but it said I don't have access to it.
Should be open public. Was it from the Radar Connect email?
I believe so.
Okay.
No, I can share it to you right now.
Oh.
You know.
I got it now. It wasn't working for me like before I came here, but like now it's okay.
Okay.
We're good. We're good.
Awesome. Yeah, there you'll kind of see the links for that volunteer sign up form. You can put your information, and then you also see kind of a description there as well of what your responsibilities would be as a volunteer. Just to go over a couple of them, there'll be, you know, assisting in setup, operation, and tear down. That look like arranging tables, setting up equipment, shipping materials. You'd help greet and direct students during the events, kind of show them around where everything is. Provide support if we had performers, speakers, and special guests. As well as if you attend the event, we'd love to hear your feedback at the next town hall of how you thought it ran and what are the strengths of that event, what are some things we could work on. And also just to ensure everything is, you know, organized and clean, and then also assist with crowd control, answering questions, resolving minor issues for the event. I think some quick perks are like a cab shirt, you would gain a hands-on experience, in event planning and management. You'd be kind of part of the community, and meet new people, build leadership, teamwork, and organizational skills. And then again, it's just a great way to network with students, and then there'll be other faculty there and staff that you kind of. Again, if you're interested, there's a sign up form, or you can email Amelia, who's our secretary, and she can, get you all set up and see what events you like, so.
Cool, good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Our next agenda item is Maria's budget presentation. But before we do that, for the people who came in like a couple minutes ago, I'll introduce themselves. We were saying name, pronouns, major, role at JRCC, and favorite musical item, favorite musical album.
My name is Dave, friends know me by Dave, I just go by Dave, this is my name too, in alphabet. My major is in political science and international relations. I'm trying to have a major and economics and politics. But it's a very long story that I enjoy being in the USCC so far and before the student organization. That's really helped me and, you know, good stuff about leadership, so I really enjoy being here. So if you're in music, you kind of know I don't really have a gender that I stay to, but I listen to Eminem a lot. Pretty much that's all about music.
Hi, I'm Evan. I'm in my sophomore year here at CC. I guess I use they pronouns, and I've been listening to a lot of rap lately. Just way too much for what it's all there.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said Brad. So.
Is that an artist or is that the name of the album?
It's
Yeah.
Charlie, yeah.
Okay, because three of you have mentioned it.
Yeah.
Okay, check this out.
Well, your budget proposal, I'll let Maria take the lead for most of it, or really all of it, but. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. So again, my name is Maria. I'm the treasurer of the student government. This is the presentation for 2024-2025 student activities budget proposal. The student activities budget. So the student activities budget that we're charged in of is produced by the student activities fee. And the student activities fee is $10 per semester for both full-time and part-time students. This is a change from last year, actually. Last year it was $5 for part-time students and $10 for full-time students. However, last year, student government allocated for this equalization last year. Yeah, and so. Yeah, so we accomplished it through board of trustees. So there's a big change here compared to last year. Student organization incentive. This is a new initiative from student government starting this fall semester. This allows student organizations to earn $25 each time they attend our town hall meetings like today. And each student organizations can earn up to $100 through this initiative during this pandemic. And even if they reach out the max, which is $100, they're more than welcome to join. But after $100, it's just, you guys won't get like the incentives. There are multiple ways to earn this incentive. The first option would be joining our town hall in person like today. And the other option would be joining our town hall virtually via Zoom. And so the town hall video is uploaded on YouTube after the town hall. and organizations can basically just watch those YouTube video and answer some of the questions to make sure that, they actually like watch the full video, and after that, they'll be able to get the same, incentive. We're just opening up like a bunch of options to join the town hall, so we can like encourage more, student organizations to join our town hall and, to know like what's going on.
And before we move on to this, so every student organization here is eligible for this. We do take record of who attends our town halls. So I know the Foreign Affairs Club is here, Arts Club, Standout. Is it international? Is there any
Yes.
international language club and Rotaract? Is there any more student organizations here?
Yeah, the backpacking club.
Backpacking club, okay.
Collegiate.
Collegiate, okay.
PTK.
Well, yeah, we keep track of who comes, so you guys will earn your first $25 for this town hall this first town hall. And then like Maria mentioned, you can earn up to $100 for the year, if you keep attending. So.
Is that per semester or per full
It's
year?
for the full year, so
Yeah.
the most you can get is $100.
So if we show up to all four in the fall semester, we don't get any more in the winter semester?
No.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
This is the budget from last year, and we're gonna reference this on our next slide. The details are on the current budget proposal. If you guys want to look.
Wait, you said that was from last year?
Yeah, this is the last year.
Okay, so that doesn't apply to like current.
No, I have one. I have a new one right here. Yeah. Just wanted to like share that with it, because there's gonna be changes. So. Okay, so this is the new budget for this year. And before I start, please save your comments, until I'm done with explaining. We're gonna have a slide for, comments and this open discussion, so please. Okay, so the first item is student activities fee revenue. It got increased, due to our equalization that I mentioned on the first slide. And due to that, campus activities board budget got also, increased. So GRCC has a policy that, CAP gets the 33% of, the revenue, like the student activities fee, revenue that does not include, student leader compensation. So it's quick math, but, it's basically just, $214,000 times, 0.33, and that is the number. Next, student government allocation. So our budget got increased by $2,000 due to our, increased, presence on campus. I don't know if you guys saw our, student government calendars, but compared to last year's student government, we have a lot more campus activities and events, and that's why it got increased. Music group allocation and display magnet allocation, they will be just staying the same, as last year. And the next item is food pantry. So this year, student activities fee, will not be funding food pantry, since we found, other funding resources that can fund food pantry, and they will be getting, I mean, they already got grants for, emergency funding, so they'll be using that money instead. The next one, advisor travel expense and student leadership awards, they will be just, staying the same, remaining the same. And for homecoming. Yeah, for homecoming, it got decreased by $2,500. Just cause, so we have like more other like campus events. And we didn't really see the point of spending a lot of money, like, I mean, that much money, like on homecoming, when we can just spend $7,500. Yeah. For Go CGR, student leadership compensation and Raider Connect annual fee will remain the same. And as you can see here, student organizations funds, we have 33, we have 33,380 dollars left. I don't know if you guys can see, but we have something called reserve dollars, which I'm gonna explain in a second. So the reason why I showed you guys last year's budget is because we had the rollover as a revenue. So basically, like the rollover should not be considered as like revenue because that's the rollover. And there were like lots of confusion with that, so we just decided to change the name. So as you can see, like, last year we had rollover, but this year we don't have the section for the rollover because that's just gonna, so basically rollover is reserve dollars. Like we changed the name because there was confusion and, reserve dollars should not be considered as revenue. Yeah, but that's why, like the table is a little different compared to last year. And more about, reserve dollars. So it's basically a rollover, but this should not be spent, this should not be considered as revenue. Because it's only there, just in case, like, we don't get that, $271,000. So like. So this $271,000 is really just the estimate, like, so we don't have that money yet, you know, it's just the plan. And if, let's say like this year, if we don't get, $271,000, we still have to like do those events. But like, if we don't have the reserve dollars, like, we can't like make it work. So reserve dollars is only for like those cases, so it's really just like, just like back it up. That makes sense. And, yeah, and in years when these dollars are high, they may be used for special projects, or one-off expenses. Yep, are there any comments, questions, or concerns about our budget proposal? Spencer?
So what do you mean when you say special projects or one-off expenses? Like, what does that what does that encapsulate?
Well, it could be like a really big, event for students. For like renovation or, so like, there's just so many things that you can do with that money, you know, so, yeah. Belly?
I can share an example of one
Okay.
if you'd like, because it was a few years ago, Maria, so it would have been, Alex, you might have been on the student government when this was approved, but they had approved money to be spent to renovate the student hub.
Okay,
Because dollars were high. So that was proposed here at town hall along with the rest of the budget.
okay, so it's more like if the school needs to do something and not so much if like a student board needs to do something.
No, that was student led, so that's a student space. So it was still student led for students, which is what this money needs to be spent on for.
Okay, I guess I'm just confused about like what the restrictions are on it then. Cause like, is it just like really big projects like that, like renovations specifically, or like?
Like what's the approval process?
More so, cause like, I remember Maria was saying that like. It's not like it can't be spent like regular revenue.
Right.
Is it just that there's an extra approval process behind it, or are there like restrictions, like this money can't go towards X, Y, Z?
Yeah, so the idea of reserve dollars, like, so it's really just to, like, back it up, like, so, cause like, we're not, like this $271,000, like we don't have that money, you know, like it's just a budget. And it's really just there for like, just in case, like, oh, if we don't get that $271,000, like what are we gonna do? Oh, we're just gonna use the reserve dollars.
Okay,
Yeah, and that's the idea, and if the dollars are high, it could be used for something else, but it's not meant to be used for something else.
okay. Okay, so it's basically just an emergency fund.
Yeah, right,
Okay.
kind of like that.
Yeah, like a safety net, basically.
Mhm.
Okay.
Questions?
Excuse me. Hi, I'm Professor Patrick Kaminsky. I teach in the English department, and I'm also the display advisor. Alex, I know you and I had a couple of brief exchanges over the summer about the display budget. Is now an appropriate time for me to talk about it, or would you like me to try to get on the agenda in October officially?
No, you can talk about it.
Okay, I want to respect your process.
Yeah.
So, the display budget of $4,000, I'm gonna be honest here, is inadequate. One issue costs $4,000. The last two issues that were published over the last year cost almost $8,000. I assume the college is picking up that extra $4,000, and our budget was reduced, I believe, in 2023. Forgive me a little bit for the I believes and I thinks. This is my first year as the advisor, so I'm going on sort of what I was told. So if I'm wrong, please correct me. We publish, you guys hopefully know what this is. This is display. We publish arts and writing from the college. It's a joint project with us and the visual arts department. It is a student organization. It has suffered a little bit in how well it's known around campus over the last couple of years, probably due to COVID. Now that I'm the advisor, there's a couple things I'm bringing back. I'm bringing back like public readings, so students who are in here can read their work in front of other students, involving the visual arts department a little bit more and showing those kinds of things, getting it just a little higher profile and turning it back over to more student-led. So instead of seeing me, hopefully the next time somebody's here from display, you see like my student editors, which I'm still in the process of getting. It's a brand new school year, forgive me. The point is that I'm concerned about that budget. I want to be financially responsible and fiscally responsible. We've published 2 issues of this every year since 1964. This is not a brand new publication on campus. And I'd love to see it continue just because of the good that it does for students. I don't know, I kind of don't know what I'm asking for, all right? Like the college has been covering the other $4,000, at least for the past year. My guess is they will not continue to do that. At some point, they're gonna say that you've overspent your budget, which would be a problem. So ideally, I need at least enough to cover the printing budget. So that's what I'm here for. And again, if you would like me to present a more formal proposal at a future meeting, I'm happy to do that.
No, I mean, it's an open discussion, so thank you for bringing that up. But in relation to your comment about the 2023 budget decrease, so in that year, when we did the same budget proposal, the display magazine was at $9,000.
Which is weird because I have a statement from printing that says each issue costs $3,800 to $4,000. So I'm not sure if there's some miscommunication going on there too. Like maybe this money hasn't been coming out of the display budget for the last couple of years. Maybe it's, I'm kind of as confused about this as you are, I would say.
Yeah, and our decision to decrease it last year to 4,000 from 9,000 was, we heard from display at that moment that they don't use the entirety of the $9,000. It was more around 4,000.
Yeah.
Well, it was more around like 3,500, so we put it around 4,000.
Makes total sense, right?
Yeah.
I get that from a financial standpoint. I would have done the same thing.
But
So
now that-
I'm just confused, concerned and confused about the disparity between the numbers I get from printing. Because I looked at what the last 2 issues cost before I came on,
Mhm.
and what you're being told and what your budget says about our budget. If that is the case, if we're not spending it all, then by all means, keep it at what it is. I'm happy to use the budget that we have, but I am concerned that this long-running publication for students is gonna suffer sometime in the short term.
And This is just a question. but
Absolutely, please.
What would your ideal budget be then?
Well, we need to cover printing. All right, so whatever printing costs. Now, that said, I'm certainly willing to talk with the printing department, see if there's a more economical way to print it. It's about $8 an issue right now, and it's free for students, but it's about $8 an issue. I'm open as long as my colleagues in visual arts can agree on something a little more economical. The other parts of that, like, there's some other things that I want to bring back. There used to be a writing contest with each issue with a cash prize for first, second, third in writing. I want to bring that back. I don't see this organization funding that. I'm hoping that that comes from, the College of Liberal Arts or perhaps the English department. If we do public events, we may have to revisit a budget, but again, I'm looking for other ways to supplement that budget because I understand that $8,000 or $9,000 is not an insignificant amount of money, right? So I don't want to over ask here. But I still want to be able to raise the profile of the magazine for, well, not for me, I don't care, I'm not publishing it, I mean, I do care, but it's for students, right? And for GRCs. So I guess what I'm asking for is if we need to, let's cover the printing budget, which by my estimate is $8,000.
Okay. So essentially, you're asking for an increase to $4,000 more.
Yes, and if we discover that that is not the case, like my numbers are wrong that I have from the printing department or something, like I'm happy to make sure that that money comes back to student government for student activities. I don't want it for any other reason to then to cover expenses.
Yeah. I want to preface with, so the student organization funds, like Maria mentioned shortly before, these funds are based from your guys' tuition. This is essentially your money, the students' money. So I'm not saying this is a for sure increase, but how would you guys feel about that increase? And Valerie?
Before you kind of vote on that or discuss that, I just wanted to share, I'm looking at the display budget. And it has close to $4,000 and it is what I'm seeing right now. So there might be something where printing was charging somewhere else potentially. So that, you know, we can definitely talk about that and we can verify these numbers because I do know accounting is still working through updates. So I want to preface with that. But I did see that last year, to I think Alex's point, that when Display made the request to student government, my guess is they were seeing that they had a little over $4,000 in their account because that's what it looks like to me. But it's hard to kind of go back a year and see. So it doesn't look like you have all the money you need for this year for sure, but you might have at least a seed to start with. So I just wanted to share that.
I very much appreciate that. And, you know, and I do promise, not that this is a political event, but I do promise to work more closely with Valerie to make sure that the money is getting spent in a.
Well, I'm new too, so.
Yeah, well, you know, but I mean in a reasonable, responsible way, which clearly people don't know the answer to these things. Yeah, go.
How many copies do you usually print?
500.
Do they all get picked up or do you?
During COVID, not so much, clearly, because there weren't students on campus. But as of now, yeah, they're getting all picked up. And if there were a stock of them, if I knew that we had 100 left, I would say immediately, let's drop that by 100 or 200 or whatever. Yes, to my knowledge, they are all getting taken. Now they are free around campus. The closest one, I believe, to here is up at the art gallery. There's a stand outside there for them. So. Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
It's kind of very interesting to make this question. How many copies you have available for chemistry? And you say last year or year before the event progress?
We only print 500 of each issue. And to my knowledge, again, with the exception of COVID years when there was nobody on campus, so I've got stacks, like if it was like a 2023, I've got tons of those, but I have none or will have none of the new issue in a couple of weeks, except for my archive. So those I expect will all be gone in a couple weeks. And you guys probably didn't even know it just came out. So, yeah,
I just have a quick question. So
Absolutely.
you guys are putting out 500 magazines and each magazine costs $8, right? So is
Yes.
it exactly that?
yeah, I'm sorry. Say again, I missed the end of your question.
Okay, so you guys will be like putting out like 500 magazines, right?
Of each issue, yes, 2 issues.
Yeah. Oh, you guys have 2 issues?
There are 2 issues.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
A fall issue and a winter issue.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Nope, that's okay. It takes a minute for me to wrap my head around it. Yeah,
Are you still also requesting more money for like prize money?
no, I intend to get that covered hopefully through other forms of funding at this time. I didn't feel like it was fair for a new person to walk in and ask for a bunch of money that I had no solid knowledge if it was gonna work, take off. So only the printing budget is what I'm looking for here. Oh, that's unfair.
Yeah. So the Aquinas College, they do something similar.
They do, yeah, they do.
It's a little bit smaller, maybe not the same for quality.
Yeah.
Would adopting something like that help with cost?
That's an excellent question. So I am an English advisor. I would be really hesitant at this moment to speak for visual arts. Because the majority of this is visual arts. I will say that there's about a third of these works are written works. The rest of them are visual arts, and there's 89 artists, visual and written, represented in this issue. I am meeting with them tomorrow to talk about this very thing. Like, is there a compromise we can make here to possibly reduce the cost? It's great. It's a great question and one I'm thinking about. Yes.
Okay. So with all this information, how do you guys feel as students? This year we do have 32,000. We have $32,548 for the whole year, when fall and winter, for any event or anything you want to request. That's our budget for this year. How would you guys feel allocating $4,000 more to the display magazine? Dave?
I think it might be fair, but I got some reason why I would think that might be need for more process of giving that fee, because there has been work they've done from years before from what being said, and from years that has to become. My question is, how will that be related for us as a student organization? How can we be using your research that's effective that would be related to our club? So this is something that might become really available for us as student organization, and I feel like it will be quite fair to have that invest fund to your club that will also help us promote and this better engagement.
I'd like to say I agree with him on the part about student engagement. However, I feel that so the visual arts is a freedom, of speech. They do share their writings, they do share their creativity. I feel like it's good for the rest of the students to share their explorations, the things they view the world. So I feel just mainly because of the history behind it and all of the great opportunities he's bringing back, that it'll be a great investment, no matter which way we try to look at it. I feel like it'll be a great thing to use, and he would allow us maybe in times going to assist the student organizations to maybe get a back page cover for an ad or something. That would be a perfect way of sharing all the information to all of us, so that we can all benefit from it.
And I would love to come back and talk to you another time about what I want to do with this to raise the profile, including promoting student organizations, including bringing in all of our arts, our music, and our theater into something like this, or at least an event around it, because it is your publication for the arts, and I think it should represent all the arts. But that's really my overarching philosophy, and not really what I'm here to talk about today. So I appreciate that. Thank you, and criticism as well. So
I was gonna say, first of all, slightly tangential with the budget, like, we as the Arts Club would love to, like, contact with you and, like, work with you on helping, like, raise the profile of that, get more people involved, get more students involved, like, 100%, very similar philosophy to our club. Second of all, because of that, we're not at all opposed to raising the budget in theory. However, I know that I want to see a more concrete plan of where the money's going, how it's going to be used before definitively voting, like, yes, go forward. and see if we can find places to not cut costs, but utilize it more efficiently. That's definitive plan.
To the board, I don't know if this is appropriate for the way you run, but I'm happy to table this and come back in October with more information after working a little bit, thinking about the budget, talking with Art, talking about printing, to give you a little bit more information on how any increase would be spent responsibly and, you know, respectfully for student dollars. You're all paying into this, so you should know where your money's going and how it's being used. I firmly believe that.
Yeah, to that point, I'm not sure if we can wait till October to approve the budget. Because ultimately, all of you guys are going to vote on this budget today, ideally. So this is your guys' decision. Don't let us sway your vote. But do you have any examples, like specific examples you have right now that you could share of how you would utilize the budget? I know it's for printing, but what is your plans for the magazines?
Like going forward, I've written a whole bunch of proposals. I don't think you have time to listen to all of them. But no, let's do it then. In a couple of weeks, provided we get some funding and I can show that we can at least cover printing. Somebody, not you, are covering a launch party for this issue. I'm gonna bring every single copy I have left. I'm inviting all of the writers who are still on campus to come read their work. We'll have refreshments. It will be in a public-ish space that's easily accessible to students on a day and hopefully time that you can make. And that's the first event we're doing. Like I said, I want to bring back the writing competition for each issue that has a cash prize of, like, the idea is 150 for first place, $100 for second, and $50 for third. In each issue, you would not be funding that as well at this time. I wouldn't be asking for that. Those are the first couple of events, thinking about the first year of this. I don't want to be too ambitious, right? You're too ambitious, you can't accomplish everything. To just bring in a larger readership, bring in larger awareness, start recruiting more student writers. From my perspective, this is not just for people taking creative writing classes. You know, this is for anybody that has something creative that they want to express. From my perspective, again, in writing. I have student editors that help select that. I don't select them. They select that. Yeah.
I will say it would probably also be good to articulate the fact that, like, you don't need to be like a professional writer or artist.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like that's kind of the vibe this gives off. A lot of the time, it's like, oh, the people in you are really good at art. But like, I feel like, and like, that's, you know, that's good, but like, I feel like it's important to like, let people know that, hey, you can participate in this.
And that's a great, and I appreciate that, because I need to know how to approach students, right? I have an idea, but it's excellent to hear that. I appreciate that. You know, I'm looking down the road at having my editors paid. I mean, again, that's a conversation for separate day. That has nothing to do with the budget I'm asking for. Having my editors paid because they're working hard on this. We want to do crossovers with, like, the sampler and print the best of student writing in the area. We've done it in the past. There are issues in the archives, the display archives, where we've joined with them in Grand Valley and Kelvin to produce a joint issue. Like, these are all things that are down the road, but they're all goals of mine for increasing student awareness, increasing student participation, and just bringing it to campus a little more than, hey, this issue showed up, go pick it up somewhere if you can find it, which is currently how it works. I don't know if that answers your question, but I'm happy to talk further. Yes.
I love your idea and I think it has a ton of potential, but I just want to circle back to the numbers.
Yeah.
So you said you need a total of $8,000, right?
Yeah.
And then you're getting $4,000 from here, but then there's gonna be either rollover from the last one, like that they didn't spend or they were mischarging you. is that what was, is that?
I
the
don't, we
consensus
don't
was?
know. I think that's part of the
So
problem.
I sent you actually,
Oh, you did?
while you're chatting,
Okay.
a PDF of the budget, so you could look at what I'm looking at.
All right.
And I did try to reach out to our finance department, O'Brien, sorry.
What, they didn't respond in 5 minutes?
No, I was like, hey, you got a quick minute. So what I'm seeing is, and this isn't the same thing, this is a different kind of budget.
Okay.
So it's an account that's holding money. So that account looks like it has $3,800 in it right now.
So you would only need 200 then?
So I guess the question is, do you really need 8,000 or do you need 4,200 if you have 3,800 in there?
Well, that's an excellent question. Again, by my count, we're in the hole by $4,000, based on what printing has sent me about what they printed in the last 12 months for academic year, 23-24.
So it hasn't been paid?
It hasn't been paid.
Ah, okay, that I think was like, I wasn't understanding
Yeah.
that. There are outstanding bills in the amount of $4,000.
Yes, which takes away all of last year.
Gotcha.
And, yeah, and actually all of this year because the winter issue goes on this year's. So this issue used up, all of that budget that I don't have yet.
So, to my understanding, so at the moment, your account, the display account is in a deficit
That's my understanding.
by $4,000.
Well, it will be shortly. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, well, actually, yes, it should be short $4,000.
So the 8,000 would cover the deficit and then cover,
The printing of the winter issue, because the fall one has already been billed. right?
okay,
So would cover the printing of the winter issue. And again, if I'm wrong about all of this, or any of this, I will happily, at the end of the year, find some way we'll work together to return that money to you. So,
yeah. They,
I wanna say that, for this article, marketing that you guys have always finished. Maybe not a lot of us are familiar with the word, that's why it can be very hard to make a decision of voting.
oh, I understand.
On the side.
I understand.
But I feel like right now, we're still having some confusion about effective number.
Yeah.
On the budget, it's kind of could be very tough where I'm not fully personal, but I will check back into the next meeting to know if I can definitely vote. I would definitely like to see an increase into the project, definitely, because I've seen magazines before on what you guys publish and all wonderful work, but without the effective number, it's kind of very hard for me as a organization standing behind for my students. It's kind of hard for me to say, here's a full what I have.
I fully understand what you're saying, yes. Yes, and I appreciate that, thank you.
Yeah, so, I have a question, like, so I know that you guys print out 500 magazines, like, does that, like, do all the, like, do they, like, do students, like, ever pick them all up, or how, like, do you guys have, like, leftovers, or? how-
If we have leftovers, it's fewer than 20. I expect in a couple weeks, this will be the only copy that I have, and it will go into my archive in my office. The new editor just gets, or advisor, I'm not the editor. The new advisor gets all the copies of display. I got them going back one issue to 1964. So.
So I just kind of want to maybe step in a little bit and make a suggestion. My role is actually budget control officer for this budget as a whole. So even though you guys vote on endorsing things, ultimately I have to make sure everything's following, you know, policies, procedures, that sort of thing before things are finalized. I guess I would make a suggestion here because, if I can kind of put this on the table for you guys to think you want to make a motion on, is consider approving the 4,000 as in this budget. And I think it would still be okay under protocol, so somebody correct me if I'm wrong. If once you've taken a look further at what bills are outstanding or not,
Yes.
and what money may or may not be in the account, I think you could request an allocation request as an organization once we get that approved in the future. And then that could come back and be discussed.
yeah, I mean, so are you basically saying for October, make this request and make this proposal and allocation request and we can vote on it?
Well, I think I'm saying it's important to maybe have all the facts on where the budgets are before making it, or
Yeah.
before voting on it. And so, I'm just wondering if it can be looked at as two different things, like, if they're, is this making sense?
Yeah.
It does.
I think the biggest question that we're still is display magazine both a line item and a student organization?
So-
Because I don't know if that's clear.
Well, so this is, yeah, so Display Magazine has always been a budget allocation in the past. Those are supposed to be, those have been kind of standing allocations. And I am not aware of it having been like a student organization before, but Patrick would like it to be a student-led organization.
That's a student organization.
It's not listed
Oh,
as
it's not.
one as a part of our kind of organization manual. So I just want to say.
It should be a student organization. I'm here to tell you.
I'm new, and so I guess what my point is, understanding that you are trying to get students to come in and lead this, then I think it could become an allocation thing. So that's where I'm trying to say, is there a happy medium here? And Brayden?
Yeah, so if they are considered an organization, would then that reserve dollars come into play to pay off their debt, since they're a student org that has debt?
The reserve dollars are for this current budget approval. If we don't have the estimated revenue come in to capture that, that's why they're not budgeted for, because we are projecting that we will bring in $271,000. But as you can see, we're down $52,000 in reserve dollars last year because we budgeted on it. So we had a shortfall for revenue and we over budgeted. We don't have room for that this year.
And so I'm happy to return to you with more information after working this out. And I do apologize for not having complete information. It is kind of the nature of the way things have been billed and paid in the past and the record keeping, well, not the record keeping, I'm sure that's access to that. Okay, yeah.
I definitely like the idea of like trying to make it a student-led like organization though, because like, especially if you're trying to make it more relevant in the student body, it just makes sense to have it led by students. Yeah, that's just my 2 cents.
Please, thank you. And I apologize for taking us so much time on this one budget.
No, it's fine. We do have to move on pretty soon onto our allocation request, which everyone will vote as well. But it looks like you'll come back in October.
I will come back in October and I'm not like storming out. I have a class to teach in 15 minutes. So I'm gonna leave right after this and go teach my class.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
But are there any more questions or comments about the rest of the budget items before we vote?
Three, two, one.
So now onto the vote. So everyone here is able to vote on the budget. So do you want to do that?
Yeah, so that's the fun part. We're just gonna vote. So if you're voting to approve this budget proposal, please raise your hand.
Yeah. Those pictures.
If you wanna approve the $4,000 budget, then you raise your hand right now.
No, it looks like.
No?
This is for the whole budget.
Oh, yeah, this is for the entire budget. So we're not voting on the $4,000, that's in October. This is for the overall budget, like everything that you saw in this list is this fund.
So if you agree with like these items, and this is just the full budget, you can vote for yes.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Okay, it looks like the majority voted for yes.
Real question is not voted.
So it's gonna be a yes.
all right. Sorry, yeah. Yeah, so now that it's approved, we have $32,548 for the entire year. So if you're a club organization, that's what we're going to work on. Yeah,
Is that different? That's a different number than what's up there. He said 32,500.
oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong.
Yeah.
presentation. It's 33,380.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what we're working off for an entire year. And now we have an allocation request from the Foreign Affairs Club that everyone will be able to vote on as well. Maria is going to lead this as well, and then we'll give an opportunity to Zach to speak for the Foreign Affairs Club. But do you want to start? Oh, let me just. Okay, so here is an allocation request. The basic overview is the Foreign Affairs Club is requesting $5,000 and $5,046 to travel to the Model UN conference in Chicago. Yeah, Zach, do you want to explain more about this?
Sure, yeah. So I'm explaining the trip and then why we have that funding.
Yeah, we overview of the trip, explanation.
Sure, yeah. So, I'm Zach, I'm the president of the Foreign Affairs Club. So for the last 20+ years, we have been going to the American Model United Nations in Chicago. It has been really important for the club. It's one of the main reasons that the club exists. We want to have student engagement and be able to bring people outside of campus to do some fun activities, this being one of them. So the Model United Nations is where we act as a country and we get to kind of decide all the world, like kind of fix all the world's problems, kind of how the United Nations itself works. So we will be able to vote on things about like environmental issues, different wars and conflicts, things like that. And it's just a really fun time. It's for 3 days in November. It's from the 23rd to the 26th. But yeah, like it's great to get people out to do it. It's open to anyone who wants to join the club. Right now, we are kind of limiting it to 12 people. The reason that we want to have 12 people is that we're able to, the more people that we have attend, we're able to distribute between the roles. So we're able to have 2 members per committee. So that's representing, like, if you're talking about environmental issues, that's one committee, wars is another committee, things like that. So if we're able to have a lot of committees, we are able to represent GRCC better because we have more areas that we're kind of divvied out into. Right now we have 8 people in the club who are interested. So the amount that we're requesting definitely depends on how many people do want to go. So I think probably a good time to do a rundown of the costs.
Yeah, like per person, hotel room.
Yeah, so right now we have 6 rooms for 3 nights at $155, which is 17, which also has a 17.4% tax. That's Chicago tax. So that overall is $3,242.20. It's $80 per student to attend. So for 12 students, that's $960. And then the delegation fee, so that's registering as a country, that is $120. So overall for that, it's $4,372.20. One thing that I would like to bring up about that amount includes the faculty expense, but that is on the budget that we just talked about. My professor just told me to add it in, but that should not come out of our expenses, to my understanding. So yeah, like I said, we have 8 people right now who are interested in going, so that number is subject to change. But realistically, we want to cover the rooms the most. That is the most important to us. We would love to have everything covered, but we would be willing to spend the $1,080 for registration and the students that are going. So
So the real, the funds that we would be allocating would be around,
$4,372.20. So that's not including the faculty fee.
okay. Um. So with this, everyone is able to vote. We're not voting at the moment, but everyone is able to vote on this allocation request. So the $4,000 I'm talking about would come out of the $33,000 that we just approved a couple minutes ago. So are there any questions, comments, concerns? Spencer?
Yeah, so my first question is, because you mentioned 17.4% tax
Yes.
in Chicago. Does that even apply for, because like, the way I understand it, like GRCC is tax exempt, right? So like, would that even apply? Because that's a pretty good tax rate right there.
So to my knowledge, that tax is enforced, like I believe every college who does attend there has to pay that tax. Mainly because the event is that, the only thing that is taxed is the rooms that we're staying in, and that is through the hotel and conference, so they kind of work together, but also are separate bodies. So to my knowledge, the tax is enforced and we can't exactly get around that.
I was also gonna ask, like, is this amount that you're requesting, like the 5,000, I can't remember exactly, $5,000+, is that for the 8 students that are currently interested, or is that like projecting for the 12 students that you want eventually?
That's projecting for the 12.
Okay.
Because we have the 8 people right now. We are still open to having people join, obviously. Realistically, we would want to have this figured out by October so that we can fully get in our information, because they work on their own time. So that's why we brought it up at this meeting instead of in October, because that would be cutting it pretty close. Is that it?
Yeah, no, that answered my question.
Well, I have a lot of, well, you can go first.
So my question is more of, so as you just told Spencer, you said that there's 17% taxes enforced throughout every college. However, the rooms, you said were about 150, somewhere in the hundreds.
Yeah, it is $155 per night per room.
$155 per night per room.
Yes. It'll be 6 rooms.
And there's no working one with the UN, with the model UN conference. Is this hotel that's mandated that you have to stay at, or is there a way around this where we could be a bit more economic?
So actually, that is the cheapest option. Because it takes place in the hotel, they offer that discount. Rooms are usually not that cheap at that hotel, and this is also middle of downtown Chicago, so finding anything cheaper is realistically not available. And we would also have to factor in commute time to get to the hotel, because it's a big conference hall on the main floor. So that's where we're doing all of our stuff, and then the rooms are above that. So if we were like a few blocks away, we would have to be waking up at like 6 a.m. to be able to get there on time, compared to being able to stay in the hotel itself and be there when it starts.
Saying 55 is pretty economical for Chicago. I work in hospitality. I think typically the cheapest you can get is 300 per night.
Oh, you can go first.
Oh, I'm just curious where the event itself is.
It is at the Sheridan Grand Chicago, which is almost right in the center of Chicago.
That is an expensive hotel.
Yes.
So, well, my concern is this 5K is 1/6 of our budget, like available. And right now we're on week 3, and I'm kind of concerned with that, because I know cultural festival, it's the end of the year, but that's gonna, you guys will be like, requesting allocations, and I know Arts Club will be doing RPG, event thingy, and I know CAB is doing a lot of events, and I don't know, like, I think it's. I don't know, I guess it's literally like the 1/6 of the budget. And the fact that we don't even have the exact number of people that we're going, but we're still funding for 12 people, I just. Personally, it doesn't kind of make sense for me.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but to my knowledge, if, once we have the amount of people that we know are gonna be going, if we have any extra money, that will be refunded to the account, correct? To the main account that is for all the college, or all the organizations. Is that correct?
Yeah, the money you don't spend by the end of the month, or yeah, the leftover money essentially goes back into the overall account.
Okay, and that's for the allocation, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we're kind of asking the maximum that we'd be able to take, so that we can kind of gauge that, and if we have less, that it would be refunded back. And like I said, also, we would be willing to only have the rooms covered, because that is the most of the expenses. We do have money in our account to pay for the registration and for the students, but
How much of just the rooms?
so the rooms themselves are $960, and then the delegation fee, the registration fee is $120. So that's $1,080 overall.
So is the rest transportation then? Like, cause like, I might have misheard you, but I thought that you said that the rooms were like $4,000 a month.
So that was the overall cost. The room is $3,224.20. The extra money that is from the 5,000 up there is from the faculty expense, so that is not included in our costs.
What is the faculty expense?
That's the faculty's room. Like, that's for our advisor, for his stay, that's gonna be covered too, but that doesn't come from our club account or from the allocation request.
Yeah, that's not voted on, just to clarify. it's not
Yeah.
voted on. Somehow he's just informing.
My advisor told me to put it on here,
Yeah.
so I thought it was good to have it in
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
But I did want to make it clear,
Transparency,
that's not included.
Yep, that comes out of the $10,000 for advisory travel.
Yes.
Okay, so in reality, it would be more like $1,080 that you're requesting from like the student activities budget?
We would be able to cover the $1,080. That's the minimum that we want to be covered is the rooms, which is $3,224.20. That is the main thing that we're wanting to get covered. Realistically, if this could all be covered fully, that would be preferable, but we do have some money in our account that we would be able to use for the students.
I have one question and then I'll pass it to you, Yvonne. So the $5,000 is including the faculty expense, but what is the student expense? Just like, not the minimum, but what are you asking for?
So what overall am I asking
Yeah.
for?
Like the amount minus the faculty expense.
Minus the faculty expense, it is $4,372.20.
Okay, you said 4,000.
$4,372.20.
And you said you're willing to put up 1,080 from your budget to cover that.
Yes, so that puts the rest of the money being $3,242.
Okay, so $3,242 is what you're asking for.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So.
You voted. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, no, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I got two questions.
Mm-hmm.
So the event is 1 month away, right? Which is October.
It's in November, so 2 months away.
2 months away, we can do fundraise before you get to the event, you can raise a fund, you can use that fund to cover some expenses. The second question is, when we actually, if you can use another altar outside of the event, if you say, you came up with a reason that you guys will have to wake up super early. How many days you guys will stay there?
Say that again.
How many days you guys will stay there?
So it'll be for 3 days, or sir, yes, so we'll be there for 4 days, 3 nights.
So 3 days, okay. And what time do you have to wait up for you to get to the place if you rent outside of the altar?
So the event starts at 7:30. That's just the overall. If we were to have to find a hotel that is not through Amen or through something else, we don't know exactly where that would be. It would be more expenses to cover. So realistically, we'd probably have to wake up around 6 a.m. to be able to get food, be able to like get ready and all that, and then have to commute by walking probably to get to the hotel.
So you have the event team available, and you can take a look at a couple of options. You don't just want to lead to one option, because right now you come up with some reason why you can't live outside because of time, because of the wall, which is come, but you have time to the room, so you can see both sides and then weigh the option, which one is more, you know? Like, you gotta be realistic on money and all that.
Mhm.
You just have some kind of weight options.
I will say in past years, we have never been able to find a cheaper option. Because we, through, like I said, through the event itself from Amen, it is a cheaper expense of a hotel. That is the cheapest option that we will get in Chicago. They actually guarantee that. So finding something else outside of it there is a very low chance that it would be cheaper.
Your option is if you raise some time, then you can use that to add up to what we can afford here. That way you can reduce the amount of money that you ask if you do some fundraising. Again, you do a free fundraiser, that can give you good money.
We
use that to add up to what you get.
We have done some fundraising in the past. It has not been the most successful. So we're trying to bring this here now, because if it's not as successful as it was, or if it was the same as it has been in the past, we'd only be able to cover one room.
Maybe if your fundraiser was not successful in the past, it also depends what you are selling. You always come up with a good option for you to sell. You can take a look what you're doing that, they have some breastfed, they have some cookies, they have some chocolate, there's so many options out there that you can see. You can go out there to the first thing. If I something that was the first time, you can kind of change how you did it for the first time. And change doesn't work, so you can always kind of something.
That's true. I will say that the college does have a lot of restrictions on what can and can't be sold on campus and how it can and can't be sold. That is one of the difficulties that we ran into. So we were able to work around that to our ability, and that's a reason that we weren't able to fundraise as much as we had hoped.
We'll say, what ways can other student alerts help your fundraising efforts be more successful? Because 1/6 of a budget in the 3rd week of the entire year is a lot.
We haven't been able to really discuss fundraising yet. As much as we were able to last semester, because in the winter semester, we don't go to big events like this. That is where we try to fundraise the most, and that's what we did last time. The biggest thing I would say is maybe general ideas and also promoting the events itself. But that is all that we really have been able to discuss, so we haven't been able to talk about that as a club.
Yeah,
Stephanie?
it's Stephanie.
So I have 2 questions. The first one was, is this like the only request you're gonna be making from the budget? And then the second one was, how are you like organizing who stays in rooms and how many people per room? Cause it sounds like 2 people per room, but I'm thinking like, maybe you could put like a few more people in a room, they just won't get like a hotel bed.
So the college allows 1 person per bed per room. So we used to do it where we had 2 people per bed, but that is not allowed by the college anymore. So we have to have it, they only have rooms that can fit 2 people, and they each have 2 beds. So we can only have 1 person per bed. So we're not able to do that, unfortunately. That was a new policy that came in last year that the college decided. And then what was your first question?
The first question was, is this like the only request you're gonna be making for the budget? For the
Yes, this will be the only request this large.
And wait, so you said it's 2 beds per room. If you brought like an air bed or something, does that constitute a 3rd bed?
The college doesn't allow it's whatever rooms the hotel has is what the college allows. So if there's 2 beds per room, that's all that we can do. We can't bring our own, we can't.
What if the room comes with a pull out?
They don't, and
Okay.
even then, the college wouldn't allow it. It definitely is. Yeah.
Sorry, have we like communicated at all with the college about making an exception for this if they were
So
clear
So last year, we actually had an issue with this. We only budgeted to be able to have it where two people were able to stay per bed, so 4 people per room. They made the change and they enforced it on us to have it to 1 person per bed. So they actually helped fund a little bit of the money for the extra rooms that we had to add on, but they do not make exceptions.
It sounds like the issue though is because it was 2 people in the same bed. Like I'm suggesting, what if like you brought an air mattress, because then that would be reusable and it would allow for less funding, so then you wouldn't need as much every following year.
We still discussed that and
They said no.
they
to
said,
that. Okay.
yeah.
Thank you. Do you have a question?
Well, I guess my question is, like, this whole money is really for like students on campus, and students who like take classes on the line. I guess my question is, how does this trip directly benefit GRCC students? Because this money should be used for GRCC students, really. And I'm not understanding how this will benefit GRCC students, and I think, I don't know how you could like clarify, like, oh, like this many people like went to this trip and like this was the outcome, because like I know this has been like traditional thing, but honestly, like I never like watched videos about it or anything, like this like.
That makes,
I really like, I've never heard of it, so.
Yeah.
And you guys are asking like 1/6 of it, so I'm kind of confused, like what are the benefits and the outcomes? Yeah.
So like I said, this is open to the student body with the club being able to join the club and go to this. So if anyone is interested, they can join to go on to this trip. We have like, you have to, there's required essays to write to be able to get in. So that is like one of the requirements that we have. That's kind of the commitment. So anyone can go if they want to, if we're able to get them into the club and committing to that. We use it to build community. We kind of get really interconnected when we go there. And we're able to take people out of campus that they might not be able to normally. We can go to Chicago and things like that. And then to answer the other question, which was, what was your second part of that question?
Well, I guess like how does that benefit all like GRCC students? And hold on, and I was gonna actually bring this up, so we have, we reserved $2,000 for summer activities fee, which Foreign Affairs Club could took advantage of if this was traditional, and if you guys were aware that this is happening in the beginning of the year. And we didn't ended up like using the funds for the summer activities fee, because you guys didn't take advantage of it and other orgs took advantage of it. And I'm not really understanding that, like, because you guys could have asked money like in the summer and then like ask again, so like, so it's not like 1/6 of the budget. Like, I feel like the fact that Foreign Affairs Club is asking 1/6 of the budget, like right now on the 3rd week, I think it's kind of too much.
So we were not able to stay active over the summer, so we would not have been able to request that funding from them. We were also not aware that we had extra funding for staying active over the summer. You had the question about how like students could be engaged in this. We recently created a Instagram page. So we are hoping to start getting out information and engagement with that.
Oh, all that's the benefits, not
The
engagement.
benefits. I can't really think of anything more than what I've already said. Like, it is open to the student body if they join the club. And it can take them off campus. It's really good engagement for people.
Okay, I gotta ask, why the 1 person, 1 bed rule? It just feels like a weird, I'm not complaining or anything. I'm not even gonna go on this. It just seems like a weird thing to be arguing about for however long this debate went on for.
Yeah, that is a college rule. We are not able to do.
But why? You guys were like going on and on about it and nobody could really.
So,
I'd wager it's a legal thing.
so this policy is from the Academic Governing Council. Wait,
So, yeah, can I jump in on that really quick? That's a policy actually from our general counsel's office, so it is out of our legal office, and so I do hear you guys, and what Zach said is correct. They did have to make an adjustment last year, for this, so I did kind of capture some of the feedback. I'm happy to take that back, but I'm not certain that that's going to change or adjust. So I did want to kind of affirm that information is accurate and so that we can move on from that.
and I do want to give more people to ask questions and speak. I know you've had your hand in the back, raised for a bit.
I'm not sure if this is actually a legitimate thing that you could do, but you're taking 12 students with you, you're doing fundraisers. And you got this in November, but why not do it sort of like how the old schools do it basically and have like a little bit of a fee to help out so that way you're not killing the entire budget. Because we went from 1/6 of our budget to, I'd say maybe 1/7, 1/8 of it now. So for the rest of the year, as you told her, you said this was going to be your only big, like your one major allocation request for the year, but you didn't say for any other events you had going on, unless those aren't planned out all the way, like those.
So this is what we have planned for the fall semester. We don't have anything this large in the winter semester at all. If we do something in the winter semester, we actually have had students pay for it. This one, we want to be able to keep open and not have to have a fee for students to go to, because that. We don't have any of the budget, like any of the money going for food or staying or anything like that for them, so that's also, we don't want them to have to pay to go to this event.
I understand, the thing my only pullback is 4,372 the travel to Chicago. I understand you want, the students to be there, but I think my only pullback is you're only taking 12 students. And from my complete understanding, from what I've heard from the voters, is that nobody knows what goes on actually there. Like, you make it there and it just seems you guys finish off the face of the earth for 3 days, 4 days, 3 nights, however long it is. You have claims about what you guys do. I can't make any assumptions, I can't make any judgments. I'm not there. However, I think my only pullback is just 12 students, and it doesn't seem very engaging for the rest of the body, for GRCC as a whole. I understand you guys are representing us, but I don't see the causation nor the correlation.
That makes sense.
So we do have to wrap up this conversation pretty soon. We have till 3:30 if we have to take up more time, but I would say we have to end this in the next 5 minutes. But Spencer?
I did have one more question. So like, one question and also a suggestion. So like, do we have, for one thing, do we have like data like showing what the request has been in the past, especially like in relation to the rest of the budget?
We have not done an allocation request for this event. This is the first time we have done an allocation request, to my knowledge, at least before 2020 or after 2020. Before 2020, I am not sure, but because of the bed rule that we have, since we didn't have that before last year, we were able to fund it ourselves and be able to fundraise for that because expenses were a lot lower. But this year we aren't able to get around that, so we came here to request it.
Okay. I mean, one thing I would also suggest is that like, because I've seen some of the fundraising efforts, and like, I'm not gonna lie, like, if like, for me at least, they didn't compel me to buy anything, because you were basically just taking like Snickers bars and upselling them when I could get them at the dollar store for much cheaper. If I were to recommend something, it would be to maybe make things, or like, we could even partner with you for that, if you need help with that. But like, I like with the previous fundraising efforts I've seen, I don't really see how those could be effective, just because you're just selling products that people can already get pretty much anywhere else for much cheaper. So that would be my suggestion.
Okay.
So one comment, and this is quick mental math, so I don't trust it 100%, but it looks like, so that, yeah, okay, the 4,000 numbers up there now. But without the fees for like registration, only fees covering rooms for the students, if I have this correct, is $2,000, $2,362. What's a reasonable amount of money?
So is that with the 17.4% tax?
Not with the 7.
So the tax
However-
adds most of that.
I wonder if we approve a portion of the student room cost, give you the, until next meeting to fundraise, and then request more kind of last minute if you absolutely need it. Is that possible?
That would be a possibility, yes, I think. You've had your pen for a while, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
So I have some question about the past events.
Mhm.
You say it was much lower.
Mhm.
Those events. What made them lower this?
Less engagement from the college, when a lot of years, it was about 6 to 8 people going. And last year we had 10 people going. That was the most that it's been since it started. And so we as a club are trying to get out there more. We're trying to act more with the student body and try to get more engagement with us. But yeah, so the costs were lower because less people were going, basically.
So, is it possible that you can lower the number of people who are going because the cost is high? And if you want more people to go, is it possible to charge some fee if it is beneficial to students? I'm sure there's gonna be students who will go, who wanna pay some fees amount. So is it possible to?
We are able to lower the amount. Right now, we have 8 people interested. That would probably be the lowest that we could go.
So did you check what would be the cost if it was?
The cost? Trying to do this quick. So 155 times 3 nights times 8 people. Um, So if we had 8 people, that would be 4 rooms. So thing is not wanting to be. So that would be $2,183.64. That would be for the room costs. And the amount, since it would be 8 people, the student registration fee would also be less.
And you say you would be able to charge some fees for students.
Maybe not necessarily charge some fees, but we would probably be able to fundraise to cover those students, hopefully.
And then Stephanie, you'll be the last question.
Okay. I know like we wanted to move on from the room cost, but since that is like primarily what you're requesting for, I just want to circle back. You said you were staying in the hotel because it was like the cheapest roaming option. And then you would also have transportation fees in addition to that, and then like the 17% tax increase. But I'm just wondering, like, if you made your transportation your room, like if you took a charter bus or something, would that be cheaper? Because that'll be cheaper than like all the rooms collective, 8 or 12 people. You can stay as long as you need. It'll include transportation. There's no tax on it. And I looked, and you don't need a CDL. You could take your 12 people with no price increase because you only need a CDL, like, and stay for 16 or more passengers, which means I'm pretty sure one of you could just like drive the bus, as long as it's designed for like up to however many people you want to take that's under 16.
So I'm confused on what that's for. Like, is that for the price to get there, not like the hotel rooms?
Well, like I'm saying, you wouldn't need to get hotel rooms if you just took a charter bus. You
So we
can.
would sleep in the bus? Is that what you're saying?
Valerie had something to add too.
Yeah, it's a 3-day.
It's a 3-day.
You couldn't use a charter bus for that?
Well, where would we
They'd
sleep?
have to stay in
Or like-
hotels.
Yeah, we have to stay. in
And they
hotels.
currently have free transportation because they're hitching a ride with a charter bus that's covered by another school.
So like one of the like overnight buses is not feasible? Wait, does every travel place have to stay in a hotel?
We can probably have that conversation after, because I probably just need to know kind of like what you're thinking about. And I might just like, because you're in the backpacking boat, so I'm guessing that's why you're asking that question. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to probably talk to you about that offline. Yeah.
Okay. So have you found out the cost for the minimum, like 8 people?
So for 8 people,
Because we're doing the math right now and we're going to make a recommendation.
okay.
But if you have the math. But before I make that recommendation, how does everyone feel about funding 12 people for this trip?
I have a question with that. So I mentioned when I asked you, for the benefit for
Mhm.
students, you basically told me that like any students can just join the club and sounds like they can just join the trip.
Mhm.
But, I think you didn't really understand my question. My question was, how does that trip benefit like all the students? That was my question.
All the students that are going or all the student body?
All the GRCC students, because this money is from all the GRCC students, everyone here, and like just on the campus, they pay $10 for that. And that was my question, because this is not an event. I know for events, like, I know a lot of students can just, like, get benefits, like, we usually have like free food or like, free like whatever, or like any fun stuff. And yeah, and that was my question, because I don't really understand how this trip will benefit GRCC students. And it's just, I don't know, like, I know you didn't have the set, like, number of people, like, we're even like going to.
Mhm.
So like, what if like 10 more people like join the club and like, oh, well, like, I wanna go to Chicago too, like, then what's gonna happen? Because like 5K is already too much because it's 1/6. So, and it sounds like you guys didn't really plan any fundraising and you guys didn't take the advantage for summer activities fee. So how are you guys gonna like back up and all that? Like, that's my first question. And I feel like you guys, like, I get it, like, more the better, but like, that's really for like all the clubs, like. And I think Foreign Affairs Club should be really mindful with that, like, I recommend like making a rule like only eBoards member can, go to the conference, or maybe like that will, like engage, that will like make people to like, be more engaged and to like, to become like eBoard members, like for next year, so you guys don't have to worry about, like, I feel like you guys should like set up like the clear like outlines for that, because for like right now, I'm honestly not understanding like how many people are even going. And when we got the allocation request yesterday, a couple days ago, that was 5K. And now, right now, it sounds like you're only asking for the rooms. Like, I'm not really understanding what you're really asking for. And like the fact that it's a lot of money, like, and I don't know, I think this money should be really used for like all GRCC students, and that's what it's for. And I'm just, I don't know, like, I was expecting like to see or like a presentation or like any like past data on town hall, and I didn't really see any of that. And it's kind of like this is just really like all verbal thing. It's just like we're just asking a bunch of questions because we don't know about this conference trip or anything like that. We don't even know the outcome. We don't even know how many people are going. So I'm not really understanding, like, yeah.
Wait, is that number for like 12 people going or for?
This is for, so we did the math right now, so for 8 people, it would be $1,863.
For what expenses?
That's for everything, the hotel, the registration, the tax.
How much is the registration?
It's
$120.
Yeah.
Wait,
But, so it's $80 per student. And if there's 8 students, that's $640, and then $120 is to register to college to attend there.
wait, can you like run through that again for me?
So do you want the whole thing or just like,
Just like the quick multiplication, like 6 rooms for 150,
so it'll be 4 rooms since we have 8 people. So that puts us at 186 or $1,000.860 with the tax. That's $2,183.
Where did the 1,000, wait, so 4 rooms at $155 for 3 nights?
Yes.
Or 3 days?
Is $1,860 multiplied by the tax is $2,183.64.
Wait, it was $1.17, or it was a 17-cent tax, right?
17%. So it's,
Yeah, 70% tax.
Mhm.
Wait, so 4 rooms at $155, 3 rooms with a 17% tax, wouldn't that put you at $2,176.20?
That's not what I got. I got $2,183.64.
You did 4 times 155 times 1.17 times 3.
3, I think you did the 3 too late. I think it needs to be earlier with it.
I mean, it's still multiplication though, so like the order won't matter.
So
Let's like here.
Is there a motion for the amount of money that's being requested?
I think we're like triple checking right now, but we're recommending $1,863 for the minimum of 8 people. Or the maximum of 8 people.
Does that number check out that?
it does, yeah.
Okay.
Is that, is that the motion?
What, this is a business. For every vote.
What is it? That's part of your group is.
Yeah, that's the motion.
Okay.
So we do have to move on. So we have to vote.
So that amount at the bottom.
So at the moment, we're recommending $1,863.64. To send 8 people, at which Zach, you said currently 8 people are interested. To send 8 people rather than 12 to this conference. And we're not saying right now you have to agree with this. This is your vote. But considering everything we just heard, 8 people is better than 12 at the moment. And yeah, we'll just vote at the moment.
It just to clarify, that's not to say that if they say needed more money come the October one for this trip, like they attempt to fundraise, they're like, hey, we're still 500 short, that they could come and request more, right? Like they could do that.
Well,
Like,
if that's, I mean, you could request more, but if it's over $1,000, you would have to wait until the next October town hall.
What if this was around 1900? Just to give people more information, so they all know some cost.
I mean, they have.
It's 500.
How much is the registration?
So,
Gets voted on.
all right, does everything sound good? Are we good to,
That's still
vote?
a huge difference.
I'll take that as a yes, okay, so. By a raise of hands, who in this room would vote to approve to send the Foreign Affairs Club to Chicago for 8 people? The $1,863.64 amount.
Wait, am I allowed to say like maybe? I just need a little more clarification. Actually, you know, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, we just really have to move on. But so I think that was 9 people. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And were you voting yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 10. And who would vote no for this motion?
Sorry.
You're good.
Me? No, I just have one question left.
Well, with that being said, the motion has been voted to be approved, so we will allocate $1,863 to the Foreign Affairs Club account for 8 people. So yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, no, thank you guys for that great conversation.
I think the event.
So yeah,
Will be assisted on that carnival.
we have 20 minutes left. We can honestly make this real quick. We just have one more thing to talk about. And this town hall can come to a conclusion, but no, genuinely, thank you for that great conversation. I think that might have been maybe our longest allocation request discussion. But I'm glad we found a middle ground for that at least some people can go to Model UN. But I'll switch the slides right now.
I don't care about the things. I'm just gonna be
Okay, we have one question for you guys, and then we can get up on out of here. But our question to all of you students here is, what is an initiative or goal you would like GRCC to take on this semester / academic year? What does GRCC need? And then we give an example of academic advising. To give some background on this, student government has been working with faculty. We've been invited to serve on the academic advising council. And yeah, that's one of our main objectives this semester, or rather this year, is tackling academic advising and making it better this year. But if it's not that, really, what is needed at GRCC? Or what would you like to see at GRCC? I know last year, art was a big one. We made some progress. We have a mural on the Student Life Center. If you guys haven't seen that, it's really cool. It's really dope.
For sure.
Pay a really good salary.
But yeah, other than that, don't be shy. It's an open question. There's no wrong answers. Yeah, and then we'll just go down the road.
Well, I'm downstairs a lot in the veterans area, and a lot of new dudes are talking about a little bit more representation and safe spaces in that area. But you realize we have a lot of vets on campus, but we can never seem to find each other. Like it's only like 3, 4 of us down there at a time, at most, at any given time. And it's for the simple fact that most of us just quickly scatter to the wind, and we understand that. But also we got this itchy feeling in the back of our skulls that we don't fit.
So, yeah, I've never heard that before. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So you said that it's the Veteran Center, and then what are the 2 other places?
It's mainly the veteran center, but it's like, there's a couple of us in there, and we all can agree that we feel like we don't fit, we don't adapt well.
Oh,
We got a lot of guys down there that's going through some things and came back for an education, but can't keep up with an online course or can't get in contact with somebody because we're so used to, instant feedback, instant reciprocation. But when we come here, I'll use myself for an example. I emailed for CIS 217 for week 1, and I didn't get a response till halfway through week 2, and then dropped the class because I was already behind. So just like that down there, we don't feel as if we fit fully within the GRCC community, which is why we can't find each other. We don't have that safe space. The Veteran Center was made for that, but we don't utilize it.
And what, maybe in like 3 words, what would you say defines a safe space for you?
Relaxed area.
I heard you say inclusion as well.
Yeah, a little more inclusion. It's a spot where we won't feel as we're being judged. Really.
Okay. Yeah, I've never heard that before, but thanks for bringing it up. Yeah, wrote that down. Spencer?
So I'm just gonna come out and say more art.
Yeah. This is our completely unbiased opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm acting as an unbiased actor. But yeah, yeah, completely unbiased.
The mural was fun.
But
Another mural would be awesome.
we would like to get more murals, and just like, you know, like eventually, like, especially like outside, like I feel like if you just look outside, like that mural stands alone in such a weird way. And like, I would love to, like, you know, people just come on campus and it's beautiful, it's colorful.
The
you know.
concrete makes me depressed and feel like I'm in 1984.
Exactly. So, so I think that would do wonders for inspiring creativity on campus, making people feel like, oh, wow, this is like, I enjoy being here. Like, I mean, I feel like people do, but like, I feel like just like in terms of visual appeal, like we could make this space really stand out in Grand Rapids.
Yeah, there's murals all over Grand Rapids. It's almost like, it almost stands out and that we don't.
That's what makes us so unique.
Yeah, we have our first meeting with,
Is the plan this?
Our classes every year. We finally got a place that ain't covered in murals.
yeah, we have our first, meeting with President Lepper next week. And I know just that mural alone and the Student Life Center, that took like a year to get, or like maybe a year? I'm not sure.
To get it planned, it took like,
Yeah.
yeah, it took like a year of planning.
So I haven't been to say about it. I could plan a mural in 2 weeks. I'm gonna be completely honest.
A lot of it was getting around like regulations, and like making sure we were, not like getting around regulations, but like, you know, making sure we were within regulations.
It's like, that's not really weird.
Yeah, totally not cheating the system, you know. No, but like, yeah, it did take a while to plan for that reason.
Yeah. Well, I haven't noted, Zach, I think you had your.
Yeah, I did. I think something happened in the fall or winter semester with like mental health support. I think something like that would be good. I know the one that happened, it wasn't like, I didn't see a whole lot about it until like the day of, about knowing about it, and I can't honestly remember exactly what it was. It was kind of a small event just about like how to improve mental health and like mental health resources and stuff. I think having that be a lot more wide span and like just a lot more accessible to because it was an event, so it only happened once. While if it was a lot more expansive and like maybe having new resources come like every couple weeks or something, just something to keep it engaging, but also have like it be accessible at all times.
Okay. Yeah, I know that, the Counseling and Career Development Center, they were a little short-staffed, so they couldn't, do the best with marketing. But we have been in conversation with them and we want to do something next semester in the winter. Partnering with Melissa Ware, she's the executive director of the Counseling and Career Development Center. But no, yeah, I do understand that about increased mental health support and resources, so. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about something like, so here we have a ping pong game. So having more of those games or activities, so sometimes we go in the gym and we wanna play some sports, but there's class going on or an event. Or you wanna play in the ping pong, but it's the only one there. And you have to find other places, but there's no other places. Those can be happening more around the.
Are you talking about the only one in the game room at the moment? And G2?
That's a game room?
Yeah.
From student government.
Yeah.
I thought that was a resting hall. I've been seeing people in there taking naps, like doing the homework. I didn't know what that room was actually for. I was wondering why
It's a game and nap room.
I was wondering why there's a ping pong table there for so long. Really, I was just like confused.
It was essentially, it's like a chill space.
That couch is so close. I don't even understand how they play ping pong.
We have been exploring like adding a gaming console into that room. We're thinking like a Nintendo Switch. But actually this week, I talked to IT to see how that would work, like check out, check in system, because I mean, we don't want people stealing an entire Nintendo Switch, so. But you mentioned ping pong specifically.
I was not just saying like you need more ping pong games.
Oh, it's kind of like,
I was just saying more of those games, like.
oh, okay, like more additions essentially.
Yeah, also not just one where you get it and it's already being used. You don't have.
I always thought the stand-up arcade machine too would be cool. Like one or two more
Arcade
arcade machines, because those are pretty expensive.
What do you guys think of a Nintendo Switch, or like a PS5, or
That'd be cool.
Xbox?
Where's the funding coming?
From our budget.
Your budget or our budget?
No, our budget.
Your budget.
Yeah,
I'm okay with
we
that.
would be buying it and supplying it.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't, we wouldn't vote on it, so.
I vote yes for that.
So, before we go to you, Stephanie, what do you think would work best? I thought a Nintendo Switch just because it's like easier to access, and also like, I don't think there's a lot of mature games on Nintendo.
Yeah, party
'Cause, like-
games are like the whole appeal of it.
Yeah, cause I would like a PS5, but I don't wanna hear like shooting.
How would the check-in, check-out system work? Cause
Yeah.
if we're talking about like just accessibility, the Switch is smaller and easier to bring around. So like, if you're actively checking it out and bringing it to an area, then I think the Switch would work. But also if it is just staying in an area, how would the check-in, check-out work?
You can lock it in the veterans area.
So for the Nintendo, I mentioned that we were talking with IT, because I think they have like a room or an office around there, is that right down there?
They do, they have a help desk down there.
Yeah, we were thinking like maybe we could ask if they have the capacity of IT to, if someone wants to check out the Nintendo Switch, they would go to the IT help desk, but I mean, that's up to them, so.
Braden works there, Braden,
Oh.
this is a suggestion I made to Alex to reach out, so I just wanna take ownership.
I mean, yeah, I don't know, because sometimes, I mean, if it's just kind of like, I don't know if we take like a Raider card and hold it until they return it, or like some sort of driver's license or credit card, and then once they return it, we give it back to them. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be too bad, because it'd be just kind of a quick transaction. You know, sometimes we get pretty busy in there, like, I don't know if you've been down there the first 2 weeks of school, we were like line out the door kind of thing, it was crazy, so that might be kind of an issue sometimes. But that's only about, like I said, the medium semester, so it won't be too bad, but that'd be more like a Kelly question or something like that.
Yeah, we wanna make sure it's okay before we implement it, so,
You're just considering cost, which is kind of how that came up.
yeah. Stephanie?
This is more of a seasonal thing, but I think a garden would be cool.
A garden? Where do you think it would be the best?
Especially for that.
I feel like it'd be good at Sweden. I feel like there's a little,
Yeah.
a better green area than there is down here in main campus. They might do this.
Main campus needs a garden.
That is true. That's very true.
Give it that natural.
Do you think in like the plaza area would be nice? The what? The plaza, like where the water fountain is?
Is that a water fountain?
Yeah, it's like right here.
I am not taking you toward this guy. That's right.
You just go like right down and it's right there, like on the right.
I've been taking the line scooters next to the hospital.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay.
Let's keep it going.
Yeah.
Is there still a gardening club? Cause I know there was a gardening club, like a couple years or a year ago or something. I'm not,
There was, I'm not sure, I don't think they're active though.
See, it hasn't been active in a while.
Yeah,
They're coming back.
they're coming back.
They submitted a registration.
Oh.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So, I mean, maybe that, we could reach out to the gardening club to see what we can do. Any more recommendations?
I have a question on yours.
Yeah.
So how many Nintendo Switches we talking about? Like, now, this is like an honest question, because we have a lot of students, and if you only get like 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, and some kids some of the students wanna play Astro Boy or something, they start fighting and Tekken on there, and all four go away, and somebody else wants to play, they have to literally wait and hope that they don't kill, the actual battery, because some students come in the morning and some students come in the afternoon. So if a student comes in at 4, but he doesn't have a class till 6. A Nintendo seems like a good 2-hour time waster. You literally blink and I think an hour and a half will probably be gone. So how many would we get to make sure that we can actually uphold to the students that would actually want to play? Now, I'm not saying every student's getting there.
I would say right now, just one in the game room to trial it. Maybe in the winter, we could get another one. It's based on the TVs, like where we have TVs.
And also in individual games too. I mean, some games, as many as 8 people can play in it, but some games like only one person or 2 can play that game alone.
So yeah, I think just one to start off. I mean. That's true. I think you had your hand in the back.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna make his point. I think it comes down to game selection, because if you're playing Animal Crossings down there, I don't know that makes sense because it's not multiplayer. But I think as long as it's something like Mario Kart or something where everyone can join in if they want. I think it just comes down to how many Joy-Cons you have.
Yeah, I think we would prioritize buying multiplayer games rather than just keeping it to one person. And it also builds a community, like, if you want someone, you can like ask someone random to play a game with you. And I don't think most people would say no to a game, so. Yeah, I think that, but it's sounding like Nintendo.
Nintendo Switch sounds
A
good.
lot of us are very pro Nintendo. So it's
Yeah,
really
that's a
fun.
good idea.
But then we like almost unanimously agree on.
We'll look into that. But yeah, with that being said, I think we can adjourn our meeting. Braden and I have some statements. We'll just like basically thank you all for coming. We're actually very grateful that you guys came and are so vibrant and discussed so heavily about the allocation request. So yeah, huge thank you. Our next meeting is October 9 in the ATC building, room 124. So it's right across the parking lot. Yeah, Braden, do you have anything?
Nothing really, I guess, I hope to see some of you guys at our events in the semester, like I said, next week, Wednesday. Students Fight Back, should be a good one, so, and that's the all day for the students at live, so.
Oh, and there are gonna be free headshots right after this in the plaza. Free headshots. So,
Get a photo of your face.
oh, yeah, like professional nice headshots, so take it.
Yeah. If you didn't want to do that, I can take you out there. It's been like.
Yeah.
I feel like I could contribute so much to the conversation and everything.
I did know. I'm sorry, I know, it's fine, it's very cute. And, yeah, I mean, this is the like last one. So we're basically almost. So we're waiting on that part. Good. Yeah. Thank you.
Journalism